Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. I'm a little bit sick today. Hopefully my throat doesn't act up. I'm not sure what it is, but being back up north, flying, messed with me. We have a breakthrough in antibiotics, or so I'm told to believe by reading this article. And what has been designed is an antibiotic class that destroys resistance genes in bacteria. And I guess this could be used to genetically engineer bacteria in our bodies to become less dangerous. Of course, not to be resistant to other antibiotics and the things that we need to fight different diseases and illnesses and whatnot. And there is the claim being made that this could lead to new treatments for metabolic diseases. Obesity would be one example. And of course, we have been talking for a long time about our resistance to the current classes of antibiotics, and that how many things are just becoming completely resistant to these antibiotics, and that could be a huge, huge problem.
Yeah, no question about it. This has been a big thing. Even though there are tons of different individual antibiotics, I don't even know how many. It might be dozens, it could be over 100, I'm not even sure. There are many, many different types of antibiotics. There are really only three main classes of antibiotics, and sometimes when people have an allergy to one within a class, they can have an allergy to many within that class, and sometimes when you build resistance to one within that class, others within that class can be not particularly effective. So this has been kind of like a ticking time bomb for a while, Lewis, and we need to be working on it.
And we're seeing this type of thing more and more in the medical field. These specially designed, all sorts of things that are specially designed to enter the body and to target specific bacteria, to target specific cells, target specific genes, or whatever. And it's this seems to be the future of medicine. And there have been many breakthroughs similar to this in concept. And yeah, I hope that this actually is what we were looking for.
I've lately been trying to avoid antibiotics unless it's very clear that I need them. If it's something like, oh, I have a cold, it might be a sinus infection, and the doctor writes you a prescription, but says, you know, you don't have to start this right away. You can give it a few more days. I used to just start taking it right away because I was so desperate to get better. But lately, I've not been doing that, and many times I end up not needing the antibiotic because it was a viral thing. It was not a bacterial thing. And I'm definitely aware of this, you know, throughout the year when you get that cold that may be something else, maybe bronchitis, maybe a sinus infection, but might not be.
And yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on that, see what happens. I also try to avoid antibiotics, but you know, they some of those can have some nasty side effects too.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to penicillin, so that is one that I, well, never use.
I'm allergic to a bunch of them. I don't even know all the ones I'm allergic to because when I was younger, I used to get sinus infections all the time, and I'd go through so many, and many of them would not make me feel particularly well, and some gave me a rash, etc.
Yeah. I don't think if I received penicillin, it would kill me, but it's probably better to avoid. Let me put it that way. Let's talk about WikiHouse. WikiHouse is kind of the next step in this do-it-yourself, build your own house, build your own small house fad. And now what WikiHouse is basically people are putting up their own instructions, their own templates, if you will, and guidelines for you to basically 3D print or put together your own house. And it seems that all of these templates or type things, these designs, allow you to kind of just click together your house like Lincoln Logs or Legos or something like that. So the idea is to do this without screws, bolts, nails, and the tools you would need to use those other tools. And it's pretty interesting if you go to the website and look it up. And I still think to myself that despite all of these tiny home projects and now WikiHouse and all of this, why don't people just buy those big RVs or trailers? It's so much cheaper. But I guess if you design your small house well, you have more space, you have more standing room, and it's just a bit more livable, right?
Yeah, aren't RVs quite expensive though? Like I thought some of these small houses.
The ones that drive, I mean, the ones that have motors that you can drive around yourself are quite expensive. But the ones you tow are really not that expensive.
So a lot of these small houses, I don't know how much the wiki houses are, but when I saw the documentary Tiny about the small houses, a lot of those cost, $10,000 to $15,000 or so to put together, which I think is a lot less than even a nice towable RV, isn't it?
No, it depends on the one. Depends on the one you buy, but you can get some really nice ones, really highly rated ones for $8,000, $10,000.
And is that new or used?
No, that would be new.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course you can even get some that have been used for a few months or a year at incredibly discounted prices. And I don't know. To me, that just seems more appealing, especially because you can just take your house and carry it around anywhere. But I guess if you build your house on a small trailer, you could do that. You could do that as well. But WikiHouse seems to be the next step in the evolution of this. Fad. We'll call it a fad.
Every time something like this is developed, there's always an interest group, and I understand why, that says, oh, you're going to put people out of business, because if more people could build their own houses, what would be the need to hire someone to do it? With every development, there is a section of the population that could be put out of business. And I recently saw an interesting video about this, and we know from history that it's not really worth fighting, right? Technological development is going to make certain jobs obsolete. There is no question about it, and rarely has a lobbying influence to prevent technology from being developed simply to prevent the loss of jobs work too well. Now, in the short term, we know that in the US, the lobbying groups that are against the development of high-speed rail have been effective at keeping high-speed rail out for the benefit of the car industry, the airline industry, etc. I am still optimistic that that won't last forever, but generally speaking, Lewis, when we think about developing new technologies, holding them back to prevent jobs from being lost has not ever worked too well.
It hasn't. Of course, these new fields and new types of technology and new products are going to create jobs as well. And it's not unusual for those big companies that you would think might have an interest in stopping these things from happening to just enter those fields themselves and make a killing. Anyway, WikiHouse, go check it out. It's pretty interesting. Google has revealed the most searched for universities in the world. Now, I'm going to go back from 20 and count down, and then we'll talk about the ones we are surprised about and talk about why the list looks the way it does. Number 20 is Annamalai University in India. Then we have University of Michigan, University of Rajasthan, India. Number 17, Liberty University. Terrible. I was hoping that would be around 200, not number 17. University of Cambridge, Harvard, and Florida State University. Then we have Oxford, University College London, University of Mumbai, New York University. Number 9, Columbia University, London School of Economics, Stanford University, and now the top 6, Anna University in India, UCLA, number 5, University of Calicut, India, Open University, which is UK. Number 2 is MIT. And number 1, which considering that this is a global thing, still really surprised me, is the University of Phoenix.
All right, so here's my thought on this, Lewis. The Indian universities are there because India has such a high population that it makes sense that tons and tons of people would be searching for those. Some of the others are there not because the universities are huge in terms of population, but because they're very, very well-known and prestigious universities. London School of Economics, Oxford, etc.
Cambridge, Harvard, yeah.
Cambridge, Harvard. Some of the universities are there because they are really large universities. Florida State University, UCLA, these are huge, huge schools with tons of people going to them. And as a result of that, you have tons and tons of people searching for them. University of Phoenix is an online university, a for-profit university with a questionable record. I think the reason they're there is because, number one, they are based online, so it makes sense that you would see searches for it because people would be searching for it not only to apply, but also to log on to their class materials, etc., but also because University of Phoenix does so much online marketing that their entire business model is essentially online. It's a little bit disconcerting to see that, but I understand why it would be there, right?
Yeah, I think that sums it up. I'd be curious to see a little bit further down the list, but yeah, I think population certainly accounts for all of these Indian universities. Nothing from China, though. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe, I don't know much about universities in China, but maybe they're just not that desirable compared to ones in other countries.
Or maybe there's a reason why it's just that there aren't as many online searches and that doesn't necessarily connect with their popularity. It could be the fact that internet use is much more strictly monitored or for some other reason, right? There could be something else.
That could be it. That information is just, yeah, who knows? It's China. Anything goes in China, as we all know. Canada did not make the top 20. I mean, I would assume that a lot of Americans are searching for Canadian universities, wouldn't they be?
I don't know. I mean, I know that many Americans go to McGill and maybe University of Toronto, but I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know for sure, but I don't know that it's that common for tons of Americans to go to college in Canada.
Yeah, maybe not. All right. Well, that's the list. MIT number 2, go Massachusetts. I like that. And then University of Phoenix. Kind of strange, but that's all I got for today. Thank you for joining me. David, glad you could be here.
Thank you.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.